we are at the top of the hour, and that means we can begin. So I do want to thank you for tuning into our program. This is all about those teeny tiny summer tidy ups and 3 things that would be great to have in your car, especially over the summer. So we'll be talking about that as well. My name is Jamie Novak, and I know so many of you. Thank you for coming back. This is an ongoing series, usually the first Thursday of the month, unless the first Thursday of the month falls on a holiday like July did, and so then it becomes the second Thursday. But we're just delighted that you're here. If we're meeting for the very first time, my name is Jamie Novak. I'm a professional organizer. My newest book, available at the library or wherever books are sold, Keep This, Toss That, published by Reader's Digest, written in oversized font for easy reading and checklist format for even easier reading. So if you have the book, you can always follow along. And of course, when we get to treasures next month, that will come from the treasure chapter, keepsakes and treasure chapter of the book. And so you can learn more about me at jamienovak.com, but I don't want to waste a minute telling you much more than that, because really we're all here to figure out what to do with all the stuff. If you're feeling weighed down by all the stuff, every room needs going through, but you also want to have time for summer fun stuff. And so how do we kind of balance that over this summertime? So Frank's back here. Welcome. The chat's still going strong. So jump in chat if you'd like to say hello. If you want to ask a question in the chat, what would be like really super helpful so that I don't accidentally overlook your question is if you start your chat message with a question mark or the word question. So if you start it by saying question, it will hopefully stand out to me a little bit more than just conversation. I wouldn't want to, of course, always accidentally overlook your question. There is also a Q&A feature. It says Q&A. It depends on the type of device you're on and if you can see it easily. But if you can, there you go. So you can use the Q&A for questions and or question in the chat. All right, so we're going to cover some hopefully really easy things that we can do over the summer, so we still have time for all the things that we want to get to over the summer. And maybe that's reading a new great book, hopefully one that you're checking out of the library, right? Maybe it's just enjoying time outdoors. I don't know how much gardening happens over the summer. I'm not a big gardener. I admire them, but I don't keep my own. But I'm guessing there's still sort of like maintenance with that. And then maybe it's day trips. Maybe there's a vacation in there. Maybe you're planning a wedding, as someone was sharing in the chat. And so there's a lot going on. And I don't know that summer really feels like the time to get into a really big project, especially if it's a project that requires you to spend some time like in a garage if you have one. And then it feels like, but it's so hot in the garage, attic, basement. Those don't really feel like summery projects. So we're going to talk about just a few different areas in the common spaces of a home, apartment, townhome, condo, whatever space you have, that will hopefully be super simple to just blend into your day. The way I sort of think about summer is that I want to just kind of maintain what's going on. And then when it turns to like back to school, fall time, maybe we get into a few things before the, holiday time, and we'll certainly be having some programs coming up about that. You can see the full list at the library's website. If you haven't already registered for those, we highly encourage you to do that. We'd love to have you come back. And so let's talk about a few things that we can do just in our day-to-day as we're going through. It's not a special, oh, I'm going to dedicate time to go do this project. Maybe that happens. But if it doesn't, because you've got a lot of things happening, activities, and we're just sort of in that carefree summer mood, then how can we still ensure that we're getting a few things done that probably need to get done and we feel really good about it, but also can sort of just relax? So it's a bit of that balance, and we're a big fan of balance. So let's begin with the entryway. Now, I just want to clarify, I don't have a dedicated entryway. So when I say entryway, that's probably not the best phrase to use, because I know some of us, like me, walk directly into a first room. You may have a foyer, you may have a mud room, If you don't have a mudroom, the person that has a mudroom is like, but my mudroom is always a mess. I wish I didn't have a mudroom. And then someone's like, but I wish I did have one. So there's no better, worse, good, bad, wish I had, wish I didn't, doesn't matter. We have the space we have. And so we're looking at that space, the door you use most often, how you come into your home. If you have a garage, sometimes it's through a garage, a side door, a front door. The door you use most often, when you first step inside the door, what happens? And for a lot of us, what happens is things just land on the floor. The floor is like this space. First of all, not great. Total trip hazard. Definitely do not recommend. 0 stars, not a fan. A floor is not a great option. Also, for me, things would stay in bags. Also, not good. Now I can't find them. I, not that long ago, had a bag from an office supply store trip with a printer ink cartridge, which if you've recently bought one, you know they're kind of expensive, like definitely $50 or more. It's gone. The only thing we can assume is that it got recycled with the bag, which is unfortunate because that was very expensive. So just a general guideline, nothing in bags would be really good. So let's start sort of in that, again, entry area, whatever that looks like in your space. Then we'll cover kitchen and living room, bath and clothes and bedroom. We'll finish off with one of my favorites, what we can do to maintain over the busy summer. And then 3 things that we should definitely have in our car to make sure that we're organized all summer long. So that entry space, when you first walk in, what does that look like? And I'm guessing shoes. Do shoes pile up there? Bags, right? Bags. Bags and shoes. If it rained, there might be an umbrella, extra pairs of sunglasses, house keys. I mean, the list is probably almost endless. It's just, yep, that and that and that, loose change and an employee ID. It's just like all the things. And so just see if this sounds familiar. Bring stuff in, it lands, then some of it gets taken other places, then more stuff comes in, it lands. Sometimes you have to take stuff out with you, then you can't find it, right? Missing glasses, missing shoes, sometimes things get broken. Piles, piles, piles. Then we're exhausted, like looking at it. Don't want to look at it anymore. And then it's a big, put all the things away, or companies coming, put all the things away. But then what happens is the next day, it starts again. And then it almost feels like, gosh, I can't even like keep up with it. So in your entryway, jump in the chat if you want to, totally optional, never required, but jump in the chat. What's landing in your entryway? We said shoes and bags. Is that sounding familiar? Is there a work bag? Depends if there's maybe children in the house and they're going to camp or some sort of activities, then there might be like duffel bags with activity stuff. Oh, the dog leash, Diane. Yes, the dog leash for sure. Now, Judy has an interesting addition, broken bird feeders. So she didn't even just say bird feeders. She said broken bird feeders. So that's a whole different kind of bird feeder. So Judy, I don't know, are we fixing them? Do they just need to go? I'm not sure what's going on with the broken bird feeders, but I could totally see where that's the kind of thing that would land there, because we have to decide, like, are we fixing it? Are we discarding it? If we're discarding it, is it recyclable? It's a whole thing. Judy, I love that, broken bird feeders. Jody says mail. Oh, for sure. Mail lands. Barbara, you and me both. Amazon deliveries. Yep, Amazon deliveries. Nancy says library books. I love that they're library books. Libraries are one of my favorite places for sure. Items to donate, says Judy B. Judy B says items to donate. Yep. So what this is looking like to me, and Malika says everything that's been said, especially the bags and the things that get lost, for sure. Okay, so you can kind of see we're all on the same page here. I don't know that we all have broken bird feeders, but Judy, I know for sure I have stuff sitting there that just needs a decision to be fixed, to go out, library books to be returned. I have things going to my sister's house. So I have 3 sisters, one I see on a very regular basis. So I always have a bag of stuff like to go to her house. This time it has things to go to my nephew whose birthday it is. So then there's like even like birthday stuff. There's a lot going on. Life comes with a lot of stuff. Entryways, it's sort of like that in between place, right? It's like a landing zone for sure. Yeah, okay. So let's look at this, and it sounds like we're all on the same page. Now we've got outside toys and out of season clothing. So a lot's just kind of landing in this space. So it almost serves as like a multi-purpose space. There's a lot of things are happening. There's a lot of different categories. And then there's a lot of different spaces, right? So maybe it is its own room. Sometimes it's like mine, just sort of like a corner. Sometimes it's not even a corner, all the things. So Doris says, my summer shoes as you enter the living room. Yeah, so I don't wear shoes in the house, and I just find that my home is so much cleaner for it. If you do like to wear shoes in the house, you might switch out or not, again, whatever works for you. But I just personally noticed there's less to clean on the floor for sure, not wearing shoes in the house. Beatrice says broom and dustpan. Yeah, for like those like quick cleanups, little tidy ups. There's a lot happening. So we're not going to get like into a redesign. This isn't like an interior design class. We don't have to spend a lot of money. We don't have to redesign anything. We have to work with the space that you have. So what could we do here in terms of like a little teeny tiny summer tidy up that would allow you to more easily have a space for these items so that things don't get broken, they don't get lost, hopefully they don't get thrown out like my printer ink, and then like it's easy. You come in, you drop, still want to be able to drop, and then grab when you're heading out. Because again, like library books, we're probably coming and going with those. The things to my sister, coming and going, all the stuff. So what does that look like? And I'm just going to kind of give you a few ideas. Jump in chat if you have something that works really well, or if you are thinking something, or you just want to share ideas with us of things that you've seen. So with the space, and I know if you're a renter, it's a little bit different, right? Because we can't really put anything permanent and we don't want to mark the walls. And so, we want to use caution with that as well. We never want to mark the walls, renters or not, right? We want everything to stay nice. And you may or may not have a closet nearby. And if you do have a closet nearby, it may or may not be a kind with a pull-out door. But I'll just say that if you happen to have a closet nearby that does have a pull-open door, the traditional just pull-out door, the back of the door could be such a source of space to get organized into. And that could look like an over-the-door organizer. You know the kind I mean? It kind of has like those clear pockets, and the pockets are meant for shoes. I wouldn't put shoes in there. I just wouldn't. I've never had it work well for me. The shoes are heavy. The door, like on the door jamb, can get a little wonky. The door doesn't close properly. It's a whole thing. Plus those pockets get dirty, and then the pockets tear with the heavy shoes, and the pocket, again, it's a thing. But I do really love that organizer. You can probably find it like in the grocery store aisle, like the laundry aisle of the grocery store, or online. You can buy just about anything online. Maybe about $10, so not a big investment. Shop at home first. Do you have one? Did you used to use one? Did you buy one but never take it out of a package? So Joanne says, I have an over the door. It has like hooks, and you could put like hats and scarves. That's another one, right? Like fashion scarves, hats, sun hats, gardening hats, visors, all the seasonal accessories. We didn't even talk about that. Now, Barbara's saying, listen, my front hall closets are packed, like full. And I totally get it, Barbara. And that's like a project, right? That's its own, could be a summer project, could be a different project. I don't know if you can get that door open and use the back if it's not already being used. But don't forget, there's also over the door pantries. So it's called an over the door pantry if you're trying to like look online to see it. And really what it is a series of like 2 rails and then baskets and shelves. So if you don't like the pocket situation, but you could use, now see, the pocket would be great for like a dog leash, employee ID, receipts, and mail coming in, mail going out. You just have to remember to check it. But I could see where sometimes you'd prefer like actually like a little very thin, maybe 3 to 4 inch little shelves that are adjustable. So you could get like lunch bags in there and different things that you needed, bag collections and stuff. So it just depends. If that's not an option, or you just choose not to use that, then we would look for hooks. And I love, Joanne says, hooks are just easy. It's just about as easy as dropping, right? Because you're just dropping it on a hook. So do you do a variety of hooks staggered on like a side wall? Again, if it's available to you, where Keys would be a great first step if we're always losing keys. Unless you already have a good place for keys, then certainly don't change anything. But if you don't, then that would be a good option. There are baskets that you can hang on the hooks. So we would want to label the baskets so that they're very specific in nature, like what they're for. And maybe it's as simple as a basket for you. And if you share your space with anyone else, they each get a basket. And that's like their everyday just essentials. So like my husband comes in from work and he just empties his pockets and like it's got a chapstick and it's got a random key and it's got this. And then the leftovers have to be looked at every so often, but the things that are coming and going have a place. So I'm just inviting you to kind of think about that space if we haven't put a lot of, effort towards making it function, because sometimes it feels like you have to spend a lot of money and I don't think you do. And I'm going to invite you to shop your home. Shop your home. We're going to move on from entryway in just a moment, but it's such an important space because so many things are happening and it really is your welcome home. Like when you come in, if you're tripping over stuff and you can't find stuff, it's frustrating. But if it's like, I'll grab this and I'm heading out, it's like kind of really nice. Now, Donna says, I love my decorative metal square containers for each person's regularly worn shoes tucked under the long sofa table. It's like a high table in the entrance. Donna, I love that. It sort of sounds like what I have. So it's a sofa table. So it's narrow, but it's tall, right? And mine has two shelves and it's like metal and glass and same thing that you have. So it's baskets. So just dump and dump and dump. And then on the top, bump, 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 mail. The mail was mentioned earlier. I think that was such a big one. Jody said mail. So it's like, this goes here, this goes here, this goes here. Everything has a home. And I don't think we want to take up all the space because there's going to be bags coming in, Amazon boxes coming in. So what would make your life a little bit easier in that space? Always being safe, of course. So that, that's really important. So if there's potential for children to have access to some of these things, then we don't do it. But up high or what's convenient for you. Like, for example, I keep a pair of scissors and that way I can just open boxes without, hurting myself. So that's really convenient. Otherwise, the box sits there till I go to the other room to get the scissors. Then the scissors stay there because I got to take them back to the other room. And now I've just made like a whole bunch of extra clutter for no good reason other than I could have made my life a little bit easier. We need easy. Life's busy. There's a lot going on. And anytime we can just make it a little easier, I'm a big fan. So in the entryway, is there something that now you're sort of like inspired about that you could think about? Could I add a hook? Could I shop my home? That's kind of where we left off with that thought, right? Could I shop my home and move a bookcase, a shallow bookcase? Could I move a table? Could I move a baker's rack? Is there something in the garage? Maybe there's a piece of furniture somewhere that would make sense to work really well for you in an entryway, even if it's not designed as entryway furniture, like a random table or some sort of maybe like a short bookcase or maybe even a floor to ceiling bookcase. We don't have to go buy a bunch of new stuff. So maybe shop your home and see if there's something to try. And would you like some sort of little ottoman there? They make those ottomans where the lid lifts up for storage inside. So then you could actually have a seat as well. So that could work. So thinking about that entryway space and shoes. So let's just say, as you're putting shoes away, if you do have some shoes that you're not going to use, you're not going to love, you go to put shoes away and you find some in the closet, don't forget that DSW Shoe Store accepts shoes for donating all year round. So DSW Shoes, Designer Shoe Warehouse, DSW Shoe Store accepts shoes year round. So you can bring your shoes in for donation. If you are a loyalty card holder with the points, they will give you points for one pair of shoes per day. You can bring in more, but you'll get points on the first pair. So Beatrice says, I have a baker's rack turned into shelving. I love that. It's fantastic. A lot of us find ourselves not using a desk so much anymore. Sometimes it's just because it's buried under stuff, but sometimes it's because we find ourselves like doing like office-y kinds of things in other areas. So you may have a desk. A desk could work really well. Those little drawers for sort of things like, sunglasses and keys and things. So DSW, they collect for Souls for Souls. So DSW collects for the organization Souls for Souls. And that's the one that would work for you, maybe. So if you have a local DSW, not everyone does. So if that doesn't work, let me give you an alternate. Hang on. And let's see if we can get you another idea, because not everyone has one nearby. So if you cannot take them into DSW, or for whatever reason you choose not to take them into DSW, Zappos has partnered with DSW. Zappos, so does you know Zappos, Zappos, Zappos. Zappos is an online shoe store, and they also have partnered with Souls for Souls, which is a nonprofit organization. So if it applies for taxes, you can take a tax credit, or how, listen, I'm not an accountant, I'm an organizer. So whatever that is, if that applies for you. So the way that that would work is you would pack your donation of shoes into a box. Let's take a look at this real quick. You would pack your donation into a box. You would print a prepaid shipping label. So Zappos is stepping up and paying the shipping. And then you drop off the box to the UPS location, or schedule UPS to come and pick it up for you. So the weight limit on the box is 50 pounds, 50 pounds. So, I mean, I don't know that we're all adding 50 pounds of shoes, and you could do multiple ones. So that is Zappos. So can you type out the name for Souls for Souls? You got it. You did it exactly right, Beatrice. So it's souls, like a body soul, and then soles of a shoe. So it's souls and then a 4, the number 4. Souls for Souls. So Joanne, you can use Zappos, and I can put that link in the chat for you. And that's where you'll also see that spelling of Souls for Souls. And there you go. And then DSW shoe stores if you wanted to do it in person. So for those of us that are getting those Amazon boxes of Amazon deliveries, this would be a perfect box to fill, any mailing box, and then Zappos will pay the shipping. And then you take it to UPS, or you schedule a UPS pickup. So hopefully that is going to work out for us. All right, gosh, we've already covered so much when it comes to the entryway. So just think about, like, the next time you leave, the next time you enter, what are you coming in with? What are you leaving with? What would be convenient for you? And we talked library books. Would it be nice to have a bag that's just for going to the library? That's where you keep the library books. That's where you keep, maybe on a tag, like a little key ring, your library tag. This is the library bag. Maybe you have an errand bag where you have coupons and a return to a store. And when you leave, you take the errand bag. When you come back, you bring the errand bag back in. Leslie's asking if the shoes need to be in good shape when we donate them. I mean, in wearable shape, right? So if the athletic sneaker has no tread left, then that would not be probably the best option. So basically, the way I think of it is the sister-in-law test. I just think to myself, it's my own test that I made up. A sister-in-law that you like, if you have one, or imagine if you had one that you liked. And so would you give them the pair of shoes? Or brother-in-law if they're men's shoes, right? Cousins if they're children's shoes. Would you give them the shoes? And then I would think, yes, I would donate them. And if I'm like, oh, I kind of would be embarrassed to be like, oh, there's, no tread left, but would you still want it? That's probably more of a trash or recycle opportunity. So great question. Well, that's the entryway space. And again, this doesn't have to be I'm going to set out to organize my entryway, although you could. My invitation to you is over the summer, tonight, if you're leaving, or tomorrow when you come back in, just naturally see what you're coming and going with, and then come up with something to try. And then try it. And you might go, that is fantastic. So I actually took a repurposed. We had a bread box in the kitchen that I just never really ever used for bread, but it's kind of cool because it has the roll top part. And I put it in the entryway. And it's great because that way I can, like, put a bunch of the little stuff that we leave with. But then, like, if my company's coming or I just don't want to look at it anymore, I can roll the top down. So shop your home and see what you've got. That's really takes us from the entryway right into the kitchen. And of course, you might be thinking, oh my gosh, the kitchen. I wanted to go through the spices and the pantry and the servingware and the pots and pans, and we'll get there, right? Those can all be on a list of things that we want to really, work on over time. But right now we're in the midst of summer. It's a little light. It's a little more fun. And it's a very good chance that you're taking things with you if you're going to the park, or a concert in the park, or a day trip. So in the kitchen specifically, where we're going to look right now is food storage containers and chip clips. Food storage containers and chip clips. So again, we're just looking at a category. It's not the whole kitchen. We can't organize the whole house at once, can't even organize the whole kitchen at once. We're really focusing in on chip clips and food storage containers. I would also maybe expand that to be your, sort of insulated lunch pouches or cooler bags in case you have a bunch of them, but one has a torn lining, one doesn't ever fit anything because it's so small. One is really heavy when you fill it and the strap isn't working properly. One doesn't keep anything cold even though it's supposed to. Maybe that was the free one that they gave you when you opened a bank account or something. So these are the ones that can go, and then we're going to pare down to the ones that work really well. So speaking about over the summer, we're thinking food storage containers, chip clips for all the different snacks and things, because if it doesn't work, then the food's going to go stale, and then we've just wasted money. So sure, there may be other areas in the kitchen we want to tackle, but we're really focused in on first, food storage and chip clips. So the way that this works is you can set a timer. And if you've joined us in the past, I love setting a timer for 10 minutes. And in a little while, we are going to set a timer for 10 minutes. And well, not a full 10 minutes, but we'll set a timer. But my time outside of a program like this is truly a 10-minute moment where it's enough time usually to make some progress, but not so much time that we get burnt out or feel like we're missing out on, summer fun and all the other stuff we want to get done. So 10 minutes on the timer is my suggestion. And you could say, okay, I'm going to work on my spices for 10 minutes. I'm going to work on this for 10 minutes. The other way of looking at this whole tidying up over the summer is as you're doing something, like going to grab a chip clip because you just opened a new bag of popcorn, let's say, we just look at the other chip clips. Since you're there anyway, just take a little extra moment, 30 seconds, an extra minute, just look at them. And this is where we're going to find the one that's broken, the one that doesn't, stay closed, the one that's not your favorite. And then we're going to find the ones that you love, and those are the ones that we keep. So it's sort of like blending the tidy up into your day so it doesn't have to be its own special moment. And I think you'll really surprise yourself as to what you can find. One thing here, two things here, put something away. And you're like, wow, I'm really doing this. And for me, like I just do a little something, it builds that momentum. So sometimes if it's hard to get the momentum over the summertime, this is an easy entry, like just do a little something. So kitchen, food storage, and chip clips. Who thinks they're going to find some chip clips that, have seen better days? Don't hold anything closed, all the things. I love this. So many of you are sharing in the Q&A things that are going well. And then Joanne says, yes, we've got that whole garden thing happening. There's just a lot going on. And I want you to have plenty of time for all the fun stuff. So instead of making it feel like a chore, it's a bit of a challenge as you go through your day. Next time you're leaving the house, what do you need to grab? Is it convenient? When you're coming in, what are you coming in with? Is there a place to put it? And then the kitchen, food storage, and chip clips. Easy enough, right? So that brings us to our living room space, specifically a bookcase, specifically a bookshelf, and cookbooks. Now, your cookbooks may be in the kitchen, maybe in the dining room, maybe somewhere else, but I'm specifically inviting you to think about cookbooks. If it's not cookbooks, maybe it's reference books, or maybe it's guidebooks and travel guides. Those would also be great categories of books to look at. And of course, any books that you had from like prior beach reads from other summers, or book club books that you won't read, won't reread, you're not in the club anymore, I'm not sure. But remember, we have an awesome library that has thousands of books that we can borrow. And so there's a really good chance there's at least one book that's just not your favorite. You're not going to cook that cuisine anymore. There were no recipes in there that you liked. There were no color pictures. And I don't do well with a recipe if there's not a color picture, because how will I ever know if it turned out or not? And so when we're thinking about that bookcase, bookshelf, the collection of cookbooks, reference guides, travel guides, sometimes there are field guides like, oh, all the birds, but then that field guide might be a little bit outdated, or it was for a particular state and you've moved and now it doesn't really pertain to where you are. So we're thinking about books, and some of our awesome libraries have friends of the libraries and have book sales. And so sometimes you can bring a book in. They do not want textbooks. They don't want encyclopedias. They don't want musty books. They don't want books that have gotten a little moldy or mildewy because they've been in maybe a basement where it's a little humid. So unfortunately, they cannot accept those books, but they would love other books if you have them to share. Now, if you have books that are in good condition, but that a library cannot accept, like a set of encyclopedias, or, you know, travel guides that are woefully outdated. There are still organizations that accept books like that, mostly because they're going to be used for crafts. So people that craft with books tend to not want to take new, really good books and do something to them, but older books, that's what they can use them for. So crafting would be one of the possibilities. So I'm going to share with you givebackbox.com, givebackbox.com. So again, this is great for those of us that are getting packages delivered in boxes, because it is your mailing box. So it's your mailing box, but then you fill it, and you can fill it with anything. So remember Zappos, if you're doing that, that's going to just be shoes. But if you have anything, shoes or anything else, books, cookbooks, travel guides, clothing, household items, coffee mugs, extra pens, 3-ring binders. I mean, the possibilities are really endless. Then you can fill a mailing box. And we've talked about this in other programs. So if you've been with us for a while, this one's going to sound familiar. But the organization is givebackbox.com. Givebackbox.com. So you see this here on the screen. I'll take a little snap and put it here in the chat for you. It's givebackbox.com. So basically, they've partnered with organizations or companies, I should say, like Kohl's. So you can fill a box and take it into Kohl's, and they will put the shipping label on it for you. So they pay the shipping, not you. And you're all set there. Otherwise, if you want to print the label from home, you can click this little red heart, and you can print your label from home. Both ways will give you a receipt if you want one for tax if it applies. So print from home is the red heart. Do the Kohl's drop off if you prefer. Red heart is a label, and then that's going to be the post office, or schedule a pickup with the post office. The only time that the shipping is not prepaid. So the only time that you would be asked to pay the shipping is if you say choose a charity and you want to specify the charity. But if you're fine with them choosing the charity, and you can see the full list here, then you can do a Kohl's drop off or print a label. And you can print as many labels as you want. You can bring as many boxes into Kohl's as you want, but just don't make them too heavy, because then you have to carry them. So Kohl's carry, or post office pickup, or post office drop off, your choice. And that is givebackbox.com. And it's for just about anything that you would have to share. So a full set of encyclopedias, because they're not going to be used as encyclopedias, they're going to be used for crafting and, you know, artwork and things, then you wouldn't have to worry about putting them all in a box together. They can be separated, because all encyclopedia set in one box can be pretty heavy. And we want to keep sure that you stay like safe while you're organizing, right? We don't want any issues. So that is givebackbox.com. So we started our time together thinking about the entryway. You're kind of welcoming yourself home. You may have unexpected company drop by, or people stop by on the front door, you know, if it's an apartment or a home, the front door, and you're, you know, that entryway, you're like, oh gosh, you know, don't look in the door. So the entryway, and it just makes your life easier. You can come and go with what you need. You don't forget stuff. Things don't get broken, hopefully. And so we started with that entryway. Then we talked about that food storage and those chip clips and things. And when I was going into my chip clip collection before our program, as I was putting the finishing touches on what we were going to talk about, I went into my chip clip container, which was in the drawer. And actually, coincidentally, Beatrice just says, drawers are my biggest handicap. Yeah, because they're so easy, right? You just kind of stash stuff inside. So when it comes to drawers, if it is kind of an issue, whatever drawer, right? Because it's just a bunch of things mixed together, using drawer dividers is a great option. You can buy them, but honestly, again, shop at home. Check your recycling. There's a really good chance there's shallow box lids. And remember, we talked about food storage containers. Some of them, with or without lids, can make great drawer organizers. Just watch the height of them compared to the depth of the drawer. But that way, when you've got containers, things don't just get all mixed together and slide back and forth. It's very intentional. In this container goes this, in this container goes that. And it does make drawers a lot easier to work with, but they're a lot more tidy. So, but I was saying that while I was in my chip clip drawer, and let's just see who can figure this out. So you'll have to pop it in chat if you know the answer. Let's take a look. This is what I found. Okay, is everyone looking? It's plastic. It's sort of bendy, All right. And it looks like this. It's about, fits in the palm of my hand. And looks like we have an answer from Joanne. Oh, and Laura got it too. I love it. Keep them coming in. Well done, everyone. Okay, so it is a picnic tablecloth holder. Look at it. Okay. I wish everyone had been here because you all got that in like under what, 10 or 15 seconds. This took me way too long to try to figure out because I only had one. I think if I had had four, I probably would have known what it was, but because I only had one, it took me a really long time. It's also must be really old because the plastic's yellowing, and I fear that if I go to use it, it's just going to crack. Plus, I only have one. So, there's that. So Joanne got it. Laura, I love it. Florence, spot on. Leslie, you're absolutely right. Patricia, for sure. Absolutely. So if you put down like that, sort of like a tablecloth and then it flies away, it's meant to clip onto the side of the table. So outdoors typically. Yeah, love it. Well, so that's what it is. It took me a while to figure it out. And so these are the kinds of things that end up in our drawer and then we're not sure why and what it is. And then we've got to organize it. Now KW says we can even take like a cereal box, right? So you take the cereal box very carefully, you cut the sides off and you just leave sort of like that bottom part. It does make a great drawer organizer. You can sort of, arrange them, get little compartments, and perfect for putting stuff in. So that is a great idea. You may have extra like silverware organizers and things, so just repurpose them into other spaces. And then Joanne says, I use Ziploc bags. Sure, so even like the little sandwich size, they're clear, which is great. They're not that expensive, I guess compared to other organizers. You can see what's in them. You can, toss them in, but then everything's contained. That's really the idea. Everything being contained so that it doesn't slide back and forth with the drawer opening and closing, which is an issue. So it sounds like some of us have a craft project in our near future where we might be cutting down carefully some cereal boxes and things, but anytime we can do that. So yeah, and other ideas for what to use to hold the tablecloth down. Here's the thing. I didn't even know what it was. I didn't know I had it. Only have one of them. And there's so many other things. You're coming in with so many great ideas of like what else you could use to hold down a tablecloth. And honestly, I just probably use like a cup or whatever the dish is. Like here, potato salad, hold down the tablecloth and we're good. So there we go. All right. Well, we chatted about the entryway and we spent a little extra time on it because it really is that welcome home. So over the summer, things are coming and going. But here's the thing. The summer stuff. Probably as the season changes, things are going to change. So flip-flops go away. Here come the ankle boots. Extra sun visors go away, but here come the mittens. So it depends on where you live. It doesn't, seasons don't always change like that. But for a lot of us, things are coming and going. And what happens is if we don't maintain, then everything's in the entryway, right? So here's my fancy shoes that I wore just one time. If they don't get put back where they belong all the time, then there they are mixed with the everyday shoes. So there is a little bit of maintenance with this, but it's a whole lot easier when everything has a home. Kitchen, food storage and chip clips, living room. I specifically said cookbooks, but of course you could choose your own category, which brings us right into that bathroom space. And we're talking about sunscreen and lotion and makeup and aftershave. So this is an area where for the season things change. Maybe you have a nail polish that's in a deeper shade and it's, gonna be all globby by the time you would wear that color. Maybe you wear a lighter color. Maybe you've changed your mind and you're not doing, manicures at home or manicures at all. And so all of it can go. Sunscreen, bug spray, makeup, lotions. Sometimes you like a different scent over the summer. Sometimes you like a different weight of product over the summer. Thicker, thinner, more SPF, no SPF, all the things. And then for me, what I find is with somewhat, temperamental curly hair, I will try new products. There'll be like an advertisement or someone's on a morning talk show and is like, oh, this is the best product. And then I end up buying it, trying it, it doesn't work. So now my new rule of just trying to stay clutter-free is I don't buy just to try. Don't buy just to try. And this has really helped me. It prevents me most times from just making an impulse purchase to try something. And I mean, I'm specifically right now, we're in the bathroom space. So that's what's coming to mind. Like, oh, I'll try this. But I would say it's true everywhere. Like, don't just try a new marinade or a new sauce or a new this or that. Like, if what you have works, because then if you don't like it, unless you can return it, and that's the only place that I will buy things, especially personal care products, because if I can't return it, then what am I going to do with it? And so many of them are so expensive. So Barbara says old sunscreen does not work. I've learned to just let it go. As you can see, I used one that probably was older, and yeah, so absolutely. Old sunscreen, it's not great. Typically, and you can always check with the manufacturer, you're looking at a 6-month window for sunscreen. Chemical compounds change. It usually gets warm, and once it gets over 72 degrees, this is going to be your liquid. Aerosol is very different, but the liquid sunscreen and bug spray, the same thing. So if you have bug spray from 3 seasons ago, you have sunscreen from 4 summers ago, you'll decide, but I personally would probably just refresh, and you can always check with the manufacturer to make absolute sure. We don't want to be wasteful, but we also want to be safe. And that's the kind of stuff that we shouldn't be using. So if you got the free gift of makeup, if you have colors you don't use, if there's an aftershave you don't like, if there's a lotion that irritates you, why are we holding on to it? If you spent money on it and you can't get the money back, saving it doesn't do anything, right? Doesn't make it any better. It kind of makes it worse because every time you see it, you remember you spent the money and you wish you hadn't. So there we are in that bathroom space. Again, you could make this its own project. You could set a timer. You could go in, you could do the medicine cabinet, you could do the vanity, you could do your shaving kit, you could do your makeup bag. You could, and maybe you will. But just in your day-to-day, over the summer, getting ready, go into, your morning routine. Oh, this can go, this can go, this I can recycle. And 1 or 2 things here, 1 or 2 things there. And all of a sudden it makes a really big difference. I mean, imagine if we started today, July 11th, and you went through to like August 11th, and you just even discard, decide about, recycle, trash, donate in a box, 1 thing a day. That's like 30 things. That would make a huge difference. So little by little by little, I think the small, consistent steps, that's where we're going to see that recipe for success. Well, let's talk about clothing. This is such another category that comes up for so many of us. And I'm going to invite you to be your own stylist. Be your own stylist. So when it comes to clothing, you might say, but wait a minute, like my entire closet needs a makeover. I've got a lot of clothes, but I feel like I have nothing to wear. And so that's exactly why I'm encouraging you to be your own stylist. Specifically, I'm encouraging you to style 5 outfits. 5 outfits. So think about 5 outfits, and this would be where you could go into your closet space. This is not take everything out of the closet and try to, do a closet makeover in 1 day. That's not what we're doing, but we're trying to make your life a little bit easier, especially in the morning and when you need to get dressed, or in the evening, depends on your routine. But we're looking to style 5 outfits. Specifically, I would love for you to look over your calendar for the rest of July and just see if you have anything coming up. I recently had a baby shower to attend. So that was the opportunity to like find some fancier bangle bracelets and like the watch that I wanted to wear, but not 5 minutes before I had to walk out the door. So by styling 5 outfits, kind of look over your next week or 2, and then just your day to day. And I don't know if you know specifically what color t-shirt or tank top you might want. We don't know for sure if you need to bring a little topper because it might be air conditioned or it might rain. We don't know for sure, but just choose 5 so that whatever feels right for that day, you can pull out. And this is such an opportunity to start to use some things that are in the way back that you've maybe forgot about, bring them into rotation. And again, this is the perfect chance as you're styling 5 outfits, putting them on hangers, getting the accessories, a belt, a scarf, a tie, anything else you need. This is the perfect opportunity to then go, oh, wait, okay, I'm going to put this into my 5 outfits, but what's that? Oh, I'm never going to wear that again. So this is what can go. And it's just, again, 1 or 2 things. It's not the whole closet, but it's 1 or 2 things. And then the momentum builds. The momentum builds, and little by little by little, which is so, so exciting. So Joanne's asking, can you help me pack for the next cruise? I always overpack. Good news. If you head over to jamienovak.com, there is a packing program coming up. I believe it's next week, and love to have you. Unless you're cruising between now and next week. but I believe it's next week. So take a look at jamienovak.com. I think we all overpack. I think a lot of us overpack for a cruise, a vacation, and then we just overpack our home. Our home becomes our house, our apartment, our condo. It just becomes overpacked, right? We bring a lot of stuff in, not as many things go out. And then all of a sudden we're like, where did all this stuff come from? So can you be your own stylist? Take 5 clothes hangers, style 5 outfits, depending on what you have coming up, if it's anything special versus just every day. And then how is that going to feel? Like if you did that tonight or tomorrow, when you get dressed like tomorrow or Saturday, what does that look like when you open the closet and it's like, oh, it's ready, it's done. I'm ready to go. It just kind of takes the stress out of it. I also find that I'm more efficient when I do all of the same thing together. So style 5 outfits is easier than doing one a day. It's fewer decisions first thing in the morning if you're getting dressed first thing in the morning. And if you say, but I always just kind of wear the same thing, like maybe a comfortable jogger or a legging and kind of a t-shirt, that's kind of like my, uniform for life over the summer. Fantastic. But we still have to make decisions. And what happens is every decision you make brings you closer to decision fatigue, where you're like, I can't decide anything else, which is why sometimes what's for dinner at 5 o'clock is exhausting because you've made decisions all day long. So over the summer, we're really like maybe engaging more in just summer fun and a little bit more relaxed. To just have those decisions made, pick one of these 5 versus one of all these outfits, so much easier. So clothes and styling 5 outfits is that one on our list. We're going to wrap up with this one and I'm going to invite you to do it with me. But when we come back, I'll tell you about the 3 things that you very well may want to have in your car. So depending on where you're joining us from, I know not everyone may be able to do this. So I'll give you sort of an idea A and then an idea B, and you can choose your own. If you didn't know that you were going to be invited to do a little live activity and you weren't expecting it, then certainly you can just maybe delete some emails if your phone is nearby, something more digital where you don't have to actually get up and participate in that way. But whatever, feels right for you. There's no right or wrong. We will set a timer in just a moment, and I'll invite you to leave our program running. So leave our program running. And then if you'd like to, carefully step away, and we're going to go to, are you ready? I feel like we need a drum roll. We're going to a dresser drawer, Oh yes, we're going there. Now, the dresser drawer specifically because so many times there's things that are left out that if there was space in the dresser drawer, you could put them away. And specifically maybe go towards the bottom of a dresser drawer. The stuff on the top, assuming we can open the drawer, or at least push things down so we can wedge open the drawer. Once you get that drawer open, the stuff on top may be the more recent stuff. Towards the bottom, we're going to find things that maybe are unexpected. You tucked in there thinking you were going to get back to it. You could find reading material. You just never really know what's going to pop up in a dresser drawer. Oftentimes, you're probably going to find things that you don't wear, either because you forgot about them, in which case, let's add them to the rotation. Remember, style 5 outfits. Or if you forgot about it, don't miss it, don't love it, wildly out of size, not your color, itchy, scratchy, whatever, then let's just give it to someone else who might enjoy it more than you are, because it's not doing anyone any good in a dresser drawer. So when we think about a dresser drawer, this would be the time to, you might dump it out, or you might just kind of do a little, digging in there and see if we can discard. Sometimes it's trash, sometimes it's donate, sometimes it's giveaway. 3 things. So let's just see what happens. You may have to go upstairs to get to a dresser drawer. It's totally optional if you'd like to join us. We're going to do 7 minutes on the timer. There's no race. There's no rushing. You don't win anything if you come back. Everyone gets the same 7 minutes. So please don't run. Keep your feet on the floor. Walk carefully. But if you'd like to, you can step away to a dresser drawer space. And if dresser drawer isn't calling your name, then maybe shoes in the entryway, or food storage containers and chip clips, or cookbooks, or sunscreen and makeup and bug spray. Or you're going to go style 5 outfits, or you're going to do a little email, digital decluttering so you don't have to actually get up and go anywhere. But if you'd like to get up and go to a dresser drawer, the invitation is for any of these spaces, choose your own organizing adventure. We'll have 7 minutes on the timer. When we come back, we'll talk about the 3 things that would be best kept in your car, especially over the summer season. Chat's open, so if you get stuck or have questions while everyone's off and doing, please jump in the chat. I'm not going to teach anything new. I'm just going to cheer you on. That way you won't miss anything if you want to step away. Are we ready? Are we excited? Are you going to play a little song? Do you have sort of like a summer playlist? Do you have a favorite summer song? That'll get you going, right? Snapping your fingers, tapping your toe, get the momentum rolling. We're going to begin in 3, 2, 1, and go. Timer's ticking. And we are tidying up. Dresser drawer, possibly. See if you can find some things. Our timer's ticking. And you are busy, busy, busy. Here we go. Timer's ticking. Let's take action. A little jump start. Here we go. How's it going over there? 5 minutes left. So many great ideas coming in the chat. Love it. As our timer's ticking down, 4 minutes to go. How's it going over there? Glad you're enjoying it, finding progress. So motivating, right? All of us together kind of working on a common goal, depending on what space you're working on. We're just doing it. Julie says, you read my mind, started reorganizing a dresser drawer, small items, stacked, love it. Yep, grab from the top, perfect. Oh, yay, congratulations. It's so fun. You know, when we get together the first Thursday, usually, I know it's the second this month, we just, yeah, we kind of can cheer each other on because we get it. We're doing this. Yay. 3 minutes left on our timer as some of you are back and sharing your wins in the chat already. And then others are going, yay, Beatrice, there we go. So exciting. Yep, patting on the back. Like gold stars, high fives, all the things. Well done. Timer's ticking. 3 minutes left on the timer, so keep going. Oh, Barbara's asking about a program on jewelry. There's not a specific program scheduled on jewelry. Yeah, jewelry drawer. I mean, ice cube trays work great. Flat if you can get it. I've done trays, thin stacking trays. They actually make them, but you might be able to do your own. And I'll take pictures so that I can see what's on the tray, like at a glance, like print the picture and then lay it there so I know what's where. Yeah, jewelry. I mean, a drawer is typically best. You could start hanging stuff. They do, Barbara, make an organizer that does hang. It's a thin, it's a piece of material. It has hooks with little snaps to keep long chains from tangling, and then little pockets on the other side, and it hangs in the closet. If you put it like first or on a closet door, a lot of people report great success with that. I think it's about $20. In closet hanging jewelry organizer. Great question. I'm going to make a note though, because it sounds like jewelry could be a nice topic. 1 minute and 30 seconds. 1 minute and 30 seconds. How's it going over there? So this wasn't quite 10 minutes. Some of you are back. Some of you are still working. Timer's ticking. Here we go. 1 minute. 1 minute left. Pam has a great question. Repurpose expensive socks with holes in the heels. I mean, how big of a hole could a seamstress darn the socks? I mean, I'm thinking someone could probably do that. If they were expensive, it might be worth a little investment of having like a tailor fix them, or is it beyond repair? Repurposing socks. I mean, cleaning, yeah, KW read my mind, dusting with them, but I kind of feel bad because they're so expensive. But if we can't use them anyway, then why not? And maybe they'll collect dust. Yeah, great for like, because you could stick your hand in and then go along slide, like, what's that called? Slats, like on blinds, and then, you know, like dusty areas. Yeah, I think dusting is probably one. Joan's back, 1 drawer, loved it. Woohoo! Yeah, see, this is what we get stuff done. Instead of just talking about it, we do it. So we love our Declutter Club. A big thank you to the library for making it possible. Oh, Doris said make them headbands, even just for keeping your hair like while you're covering your face. That's good. 1 second left, and there's our jazzy little timer. Jazzy little timer. Oh, so many wonderful ideas coming in for repurposing socks. So jump in the conversation if you want to join us for repurposing socks. Joanne says pajama drawer done. Check. Love it. Joan had a great success. So jump in chat if you want to say. And if you're like, wait, Florence is like, it's done and I'm just not done yet. Listen, I totally get it, but we've started, or we've made decisions, or we know what's in there, or we're done. And then we'll jump back in, and then we'll do the next drawer. And I'll just invite you to remember that was only 7 minutes. So if you dedicated 10 minutes a day, the first commercial break from a television show, that would work. So there you go. If you jumped into the conversation, if you came back and you're like, wait, why is everyone talking about socks? A very, very long conversation happening in the chat about socks, because we had one of our friends say, well, Pam said I have expensive socks and they might be too many holes to repair. And so then everyone had so many awesome ideas, including Leslie, dusting the shutter slats. But stick your finger in the sock and then go along the slat, and there you go. So Judy moved the shoes from the entryway closet, checked a bureau drawer. I mean, everyone's on a roll. So if you were able to join us, wonderful. If you chose your own organizing adventure, fantastic. And if you're like, nope, wasn't the right time or space to do it, I hope you'll do it. And if you did it, I hope you'll do it again. Look at what we accomplished. That was 7 minutes. I do love setting a timer. Summer or not, I love setting a timer. And it's because it gives me a challenge. It gives me a limited time. I work faster. I personally make quick decisions. And if you're like, not a timer, play your favorite song. Use the laundry time, right? If you do laundry at home, put the laundry in, use the laundry cycle time as 22 to 35, something like that, minutes. Do a little something, but not so much. We didn't dump everything out of every dresser drawer, right? Because then we would have just made a bigger mess. Judy says, bottom dresser drawer, reduce the volume by 25%. I love this. Congratulations, everyone. This is awesome. Laura says, my first Zoom. Oh, I'm so glad you're enjoying this. Listen, this is my passion. So I'm very enthusiastic. Plus, it's your stuff, not mine. So I'm very excited for all of you to get stuff out. So it's always easier when it's someone else's stuff. Laura, I love that. I'm so glad we've been connected. This is great. Okay, so we are wrapping up our time. 3 things in the car. Number 1, a trash container of some kind. So Summer often finds us with extra water bottles and drinks and snacks in the car and going here, going there. So some sort of receptacle, and maybe a routine. Whenever you fuel up the car, the trash goes in the trash if your gas station has a trash can. So just new routines. Everything that goes out to the car comes back in. A roll of paper towels. You just never know, right? From wiping down the windshield to, something spills in the car to anything else. If you're going to get a popsicle and it starts to melt, paper towels are really handy. And then please have a charging cable and a way, like a cigarette lighter charger, or however you charge your car, charge your phone on the go, especially if you're taking extra pictures and videos over the summer. The battery can wind down pretty fast, and I would love for you to have the charging cable that doesn't have to keep coming and going out of the house unless you leave it in the entryway and then you remember. So many lovely comments. Patricia says, but wait, now what do I do with the t-shirts and pajama pants? So we might be having a little fashion show, try things on. We might be donating some things, or we'll put them into a container and look at them later, or maybe they just need to be relocated. So Patricia, depends on what's going on with that, but there are the leftovers, and I love that you're going to think about what to do with them. As we wrap up our time together, and there's a few final questions, if you haven't already, we would really appreciate it if you'd like to click the link in the chat and fill out a little evaluation form. For every program that the library provides, they offer you the opportunity to provide some feedback, anonymous or not, and we would love to hear your thoughts. So that might be something. If you'd like to help us out, you can click on the blue link in the chat if you're able to see it. It's also on the library's website if you'd prefer to go right there. Jody says, where do you store the paper towels so they don't roll around? What a great question. Oh, going back to the sock question, if you take the top of the band of the sock and cut it off, that would be a great thing to put around the paper towel so that they don't roll around. I typically just use a rubber band if that's safe to do in your space. But yes, and that way you don't want them to roll around. And then generally I just have them behind the passenger seat. So if I'm the driver and I'm sitting safely, not driving, and needed them, they're accessible. But there's just so many times when I need them. I needed it just the other day to wipe the fog off the inside of the windshield. So that was good. Now, Joyce says I also put like a grocery bag, a reusable grocery bag for sure, right? Because you're always coming and going. Mine are in the errand bag. I take the errand bag to and from the car. So many wonderful ideas. I hope you'll come back next week, next month, and share more ideas with us. We will be back on August 1st. That's going to be treasures and keepsakes and sentimental items. So we do hope you're planning to join us. If you haven't registered already, the link's in the chat. Everything's on the library's website. Jody says you can buy a material trash holder. Totally can. I've had a few and then I've ruined them. And then I just buy another one. So whatever makes the best sense. I ended up just doing a little dorm trash can. That way it's open and it takes oversized things. Oh, a bungee cord through the paper towels. Yes, I love it. You guys are brilliant. Oh, so many wonderful ideas. I love that we're all in this together. I hope you found a lot of fun with that first little 7-minute tidy up. And I hope you'll find more time to tidy up, but also enjoy summer. And we'll be back August 1st. So wonderful ideas. Oh, from a jean. Yes, I often repurpose jeans into like crossbody bags and stuff. So we did it again. Frank's giving us clapping hands and a thumbs up, and I'm giving you all a thumbs up. Thank you so much for joining us. We have to say so long now, but we're going to do it again August 1st. We'll see you then. If you have any questions, check out the library. Go to jamienovak.com. There's a question about the book. It is Keep This, Toss That. Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful rest of the month. We'll see you August 1st. Happy decluttering and congratulations on your success. See you soon.